this. Hopefully you can hear me now. I'm just going to wait and double check. It decided to disconnect my microphone. That's better. Phew. It's not very loud, is it? Let me just turn this up a little bit. Bear with me. Okay, hopefully you can hear me a bit better now. The joy of technology, children. Right, good morning, everybody. Let's start again, shall we? So this morning, we're going to be thinking about Remembrance Day, which is a very, very important day, okay? So this session is going to be called We Will Remember. And we're going to be looking at making some shape poetry that is Remembrance Day inspired. But first of all, as always, we need to get our shout outs done. So we've got a few shout outs this morning. So let's have a look. Who have we got? Good morning and welcome to Windsor Hill Primary School in Newry. Beautiful part of Northern Ireland. So hello and welcome to you guys. We have got, lurking around here somewhere, Mrs Crawford's P6-7 class at Kirkenriola Primary School. Hello and welcome to you. Who else have we got lurking around here? Oh, two popped up at once. We've got Mrs Overend's P7 class at Clough Primary School. Hello and welcome to you. P7 class at Rattray Primary School in Scotland. Hello and good morning and welcome. We have got Mrs Norton's P5 class at Tower View Primary School. Hello and welcome to you guys. We have got P7 class at Kirkcaldy Integrated Primary School. Hello and welcome to you. And last but not least, we've got class 4 at Montgomery Church in Wales Primary School, so Welsh School. Hello, Borada. I probably didn't say that properly, but good morning and welcome to our session. So, shall we have a think about what we are going to learn to do today? We are learning to reflect on Remembrance Day through poetry and design. I'm just going to move my microphone a bit closer. We're going to look at adding and editing a shape. So it's going to be a poppy shape. So we're going to make a poppy shape using our shapes tool in J2 Create. So that is the tool that we're going to use today. We're going to add and format our text creatively. So we're going to add in some text, we're going to move it and we're going to pop it into the shape to make it look like a shape poem. And then finally we are going to save our work so we can edit it later or show others. Now teachers, it will be likely that we don't, as always, half an hour is a very short time frame, but it'll be likely that we don't complete the whole activity today, but we will make a good start so the children can save their work and then come back and finish off later. Okay, so let's have a little think first of all about what is Remembrance Day. So lots of schools will be focusing on Remembrance Day. Remembrance Day is actually next Tuesday. And we've also got Remembrance Sunday, which is this Sunday coming. So you might be wondering, what is Remembrance Day? It is a time to remember and honour those who have served and sacrificed. So it's for the armed forces and people who have served and maybe that have passed during wars over the years. Okay, so it was started in World War I. So Remembrance Day happens every year on November 11th, marking the end of World War I. At the 11th hour on the 11th day of the 11th month. And traditionally we have a 2-minute silence that happens on November 11th at 11 o'clock, which is next Tuesday. Okay, and you will probably see a lot of these around at the moment. So people generally wear a poppy on their lapel, on their coat. You might see poppies around. My daughter's got a Remembrance Day snap band that she got from those stalls that sell all the Remembrance Day memorabilia. So the poppy is a symbol of remembrance and hope. So you'll probably see a lot of these being worn at the moment. Okay, they're always worn that first 2 weeks of November. Okay, so that's what we're going to think about today, and we're going to honour Remembrance Day by making a visual poem. Okay, so you're probably wondering what a visual poem or a shape poem is, and these are 3 examples here of shape poems. I don't know why I've added that in. Let's get rid of that. Sneaky little bit of text there. So you can see here we've got a butterfly shape poem. We've got a rainbow shape poem, which is beautifully made. The words are arced and they're coloured to represent a rainbow. And this one is a blackbird poem. So a visual poem combines words and design to create meaning. And often the shape of the poem adds to its message. So you can see here we've got a lovely poem about a butterfly. The shape shows you that it's about a butterfly. The rainbow poem is in the shape of a rainbow and it's got the colours and it represents a rainbow. And the blackbird poem is all about a blackbird. So the shape gives that away. So what shape do you think we're going to make our visual poem or our shape poem today? Hopefully you said poppy. And that's what we're going to do. So let's have a look at what we're going to create this morning. This is our beautiful poppy shape poem. Okay, we're going to cheat a little bit. We're going to add in a shape as a background. Just adds to the visual effect of it. So let's have a look at what we're going to create. So this is made in J2 Create. So I'm just going to go to my edit button. So you can see here I've added, this is a poppy shape. Okay, so we're going to make that. Pop it in the right place. We've added in a circle in the middle. And we've also added in our poem. Okay, so this is our little poem that we're going to use. Now teachers, in the email I did say if you wanted to do a little bit of a Remembrance Day poem prior to the session, the children can use that instead if they have done that prep work. Don't panic if they haven't. We are going to use my poem if you haven't done that prep work, so don't worry. So this is my little poem. I wear a little poppy as red can be to show that I remember those that fought for me. So very short and sweet. Okay, so who would like to create this with me this morning? Hopefully you've all got your hands up. Let's close this down. So let's close this. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get creating. We're going to find J2 Create. So hopefully you are logged in, ready to go. I can see in the list that we've got a lot of schools that have attended lessons before. So hopefully you're all prepared. If not, teachers, don't worry, you can pause the session at any time. That's why we deliver through YouTube, to allow you that chance to pause. So if the children need a little bit more time, especially if you're working with some of the younger children, maybe P4s and P5s, they might need a bit more time to complete some of the tasks that I'm going to show them today. So pause the session, press play when you are ready to carry on. So children, can you find J2 Create on your launch pad? It looks like this. So yours might be in a different space to mine, but that is the tool that we are looking for. Okay, now what I'm going to do, don't worry, you don't need to do this. I'm going to load up this J2 Create file because it has my poem ready there up the top, ready for you to copy. So we don't need to worry about that just yet. Okay, but I wanted that to be on the page for when we start writing our text. So in fact, I might just move this out the way for now, just so we don't get confused. Okay, so your page is probably in portrait at the moment. So at the bottom, unfortunately, it's right behind my head. So I'm going to move my head just a little bit. Here we go. Let's try this again. So down here, we have our orientation button. I'm going to zoom in just so you can see this button here. Now we don't have to do this, but it just makes it a little bit easier if we have a landscape page. So can you see the long bit of my pages along the top? You probably got this page at the moment. So this is portrait. Can you see the long bit of my pages along the side? So we're going to click on this button here, over here. And can you see the long bit of my pages along the top now? As I said, you don't have to do that, but it can make it a little bit easier. I'm going to move my head back. It can make it a little bit easier to give us a bit more space to create our poem. Okay. Now the first thing we need to do is we need to add in our poppy shape. So who can remember in previous live lessons, we have done shapes before, I think. Have we done shapes before? I'm not sure. Who thinks they can look at the tools at the top here, over here somewhere? Who can find the shape button? Or who can guess which button is the shape button? That's right, it is this button up here, okay, with the circle, the triangle, the square. Again, I'm going to zoom in just so you can see it's this button here. Okay, we're going to click on this. And then there isn't technically a poppy shape. But what I want you to do, can you see this shape over here? Okay, this kind of cloud box shape. That's what we're going to use. Okay, so I want you to click and drag. So you're going to left click and drag, or if you're using a touch screen, you're going to click on it and you're going to move it over to your page. So we want to add it onto our page. So just one. Okay, so click, drag, or left click, drag your mouse. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to edit our shape. And the first thing is quite obvious that we need to do. Do you think we're going to add in a really nice visual poem into that shape, the size that it is now? No. So we need to make it bigger. Who can remember how do we make our objects bigger? Okay. We're going to click on the object just once. Can you see we've got our blue boxes now? If you're on an iPad, it might be a slightly different shape. You might just have two. I think it's a slightly curvy blue shape. Okay. And we're going to click and drag one of those corner boxes and we're going to move either our mouse or our finger diagonally. Okay, so in a kind of diagonal direction. So we're going to click, drag, and we're going to make it quite big. You might even want to make it bigger. Okay. And then you can click and move it around the page if you want to put it more in the middle or you want to put it over to the side. It's up to you. Okay. Now, does this look like a poppy? No, it does not. So what's really nice about some of our shapes in J2 Create is we can change how they look. So can you see the top of my shape and have a look at the top of your shape? There's a little pink button there. Can you see? So that allows us to change how that shape looks. So what you're going to do is you're going to hover over that pink button. Can you see my cursor's now changed into a little cross? If you're using an iPad, you'll just need to click on it and we're going to drag it to the right. Okay, so you're going to click and drag to the right. And we're going to keep going until we get to this shape. Don't worry if you go too far, just drag it back one. So we want, so that it's almost a bit like a clover kind of look. Okay. So I'm just going to show you how to do that again. So you're going to click and drag on that pink button until you get to this shape. So can you see it's got 8 segments to it. Okay. And again, it's made it a little bit smaller, so you might want to use your blue boxes to make that a bit bigger again as well. Just turn that off. Okay. We're going to click and drag and make it a bit... Oh, that's annoying. Oh, apparently it's got a set shape. Okay. And it's just made I've just noticed a bit of a glitch. Anyway, I will fix it. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to make this red. Okay, so it's really important that you're still clicked on your poppy. If you have clicked off and you haven't got that blue box around it, just click on it again and we've got our blue boxes. Now, can you see on the right hand side up here, we've got a few things that we need to change. Okay, now the first thing we're going to change is our outline colour. Okay, and then we're going to click fill, and we're going to change our fill colour as well. So we're going to make it, both of them are going to be red. So I want you to click where it says outline, and we've got this little box. I'm going to zoom in just so you can see. You don't need to zoom in. I'm just zooming in just so you can see a bit better. Can you see we've got this tick box next to this box here? So that's telling us that we're now editing the colour of this outline, and we want to choose red. So we're going to choose red up here. And can you see that's changed? So if I zoom out, my fill colour should be nice and bright red, which it is. Okay, I'm going to zoom out again. So that is our outline. So I'm just going to go through that again. We're going to click on this box here, and then we're going to click the red. You can, if you want to, change that shade of red. So if you want to make it a bit less bright, can you see these shades are along the right hand side at the bottom? But I quite like a nice bright red. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to click where it says fill. We're going to make sure that it's ticked. So I want you to click on that little tick box. And then again, you're just going to choose the red colour, and that is going to fill that in. Okay. So just to go over that, you need to tick the outline box, make it red, tick the fill box and make it red. Let's see if we can make that a bit bigger now. Okay, we have only got this size, didn't realise. So I will get that fixed. Hopefully we'll be able to make those shapes bigger. It's very strange that you can't. Okay. Then what I want you to do, children, is I want you to pop that on your page somewhere in the middle, and we're going to lock this to the page. So this is a new skill. If you've been doing my lessons before, we haven't looked at lock yet, but locking it to the page can make it much easier when we're adding things on top of a shape. So locking it to the page almost means like it's now your background, and you can't move it. Okay, so we're going to make sure that our blue boxes are around the outside. So if you've clicked off your poppy, make sure you click on it again. Okay, and then can you see on the right hand side over here, we've got this box that says lock. So we're going to tick that. So you're going to click in this box here. And what that will do is it now means, can you see when I click on that object, I don't get my little blue boxes and I can't drag it. Okay, so that is now my background. So I can add shapes on top of it. I can add text on top of it. I can add photographs on top of it. Okay. Okay. Now don't worry if you've locked it and you need to move it. Teachers, I'm just going to show you how to do this just in case you need it. You just need to double click on that box, on that object. And can you see we've got the unlock button? We can tick that, and then we've got this red box, so we can click on that, and that has then unlocked it. So that's how we unlock. Okay, but I want to make sure that you have locked it. So we're going to click on it, tick the lock box, and that is now locked. Okay. The other thing we need to do is we need to add the little centre to our poppy to make it obvious that it's a poppy. So we're going to do the same thing, but instead of using a cloud shape, we're going to use a circle shape, and we're going to fill it, instead of red, we're going to fill it black. So teachers, if you want to check whether the children have picked up that skill or not, you can pause the session. Give them a chance to see if they can figure that out. We want to add a black circle. Okay. I'm going to show you how to do it now, so don't worry if you haven't paused. So for the circle, we can either go up to our shape and drag in our circle, or there is also a circle button here. They both do the same thing, okay? So I'm going to drag this one here. I'm going to drag it onto my poppy. Again, we need to resize it because it's a bit small, so we're going to click on it, make that a little bit bigger, not too big, because we don't want to take up too much writing space. In fact, I might make it a little bit smaller. Okay, and then we need to fill it. So we're going to go to our outline. We're going to tick the black box, which is up the top. So these are our monochromatic colours. So we're going to go to the black, and then we need to fill and make it black again. Remember, so we're going to click fill. It's going to fill it white by default, and then if we tick the black box, that has now added that onto our poppy. Okay, so you're going to add a circle. You're going to change the outline colour to black. You're going to tick the fill box and then fill it in black. Okay. So teachers, they might need a little bit longer. So again, feel free to pause. I might make this black bit just a little bit wider. There we go. Okay. And then you're going to pop it in the middle of your poppy, and we're going to lock it as well, so that it doesn't move accidentally. Okay, so we're going to go lock, and that now is our poppy shape. Okay. So now we need to add in our poem. Now there's a bit of a trick with our poem, so I'm going to add my poem up here so that you can see. So I'm just going to reflect on my poem. Now, as I said earlier, teachers, if you have done that little bit of prep work and the children have their own poem, they can have that ready to reference to add onto their poppy. Or if you want to encourage them to make up their own poem, that is entirely up to you. Okay, but this poem is up here if the children need it as a reference. Okay, so I'm going to go over our poem again. It's very short and sweet. So I wear a little poppy as red can be, to show that I remember those that fought for me. I haven't said that very well at all, have I? Let's try that again. I wear a little poppy as red can be, to show that I remember those that fought for me. That's better. Didn't get the flow right the first time. So what we need to do to add this into our shape poem, we're going to write this in very small chunks, and that's going to make sense in a second, because if we add it all in one text, we can't adjust the size, the shape, the width of these words to fit into our shape poem. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to write the first two words of our poem. So I wear. Okay, so we're going to click on our page somewhere. So can you see my little cursor? Anywhere on the white page, doesn't matter where it is. Okay, so we're going to click and our cursor is flashing, and we're going to type I wear. Okay. Now I haven't done this the right way round. Okay. Even teachers make mistakes, children. Right. The first thing I wanted to do actually wasn't to type. We need to set our font. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on our page. So ignore that word that we've just written. We're going to click on our page, and instead of typing, we're going to choose a font. So we're going to use our little drop down menu over here. So these are our fonts. Can you see where it says Trebuchet or Trebuchet or Trebuchet MS? That is our default font. So that is the font that is always used in J2 Create unless we change it. And we're going to use a little drop down menu, and we've got some different fonts to choose from. So I would like you to choose one of these. I like Lexend. I also like Comic Sans. So it's entirely up to you which one you choose. I wouldn't use Impact for this particular activity. I know we use Impact a lot. We generally use Impact for our headings. I would use one of the others. Okay. So I'm going to use Comic Sans. Okay. So once you've chosen your font, the next thing you're going to do is you're just going to click anywhere on that white page. That is going to set your font now, so you don't have to keep changing it. Okay. So we've clicked on our page, we've changed our font, then we've clicked somewhere else on the page, so that then sets that font. Okay. And now we are going to type out little bits of our, I'm being blinded, little bits of our poem. I'm going to have to excuse my cat. There we go. I normally do that before I start the lesson. We're going to type out little bits of our poem. So I'm going to say, I wear. So can you see that looks different for the first one? Slightly different. Okay. And then we're going to move and resize that. So who can remember, how do we move text? We double click. Okay, so we double click and then we can move that, and I'm just going to show you my poem from earlier. So can you see, we're going to layer it on one side of that poppy. So at the moment that is a bit small. So I'm going to make it a bit bigger. I'm going to drag these little blue boxes and I'm going to make that fit a bit better. I'm going to move it around. So keep kind of resizing it, moving it, popping it in the right place. You might need to do a few edits. You can click off that text to see what it looks like. You might want to double click and move it a bit closer to the middle and resize. And don't worry, we can edit all of this text a bit later. So you might want to start off a bit smaller until we've written and added our whole poem. And then you can go in and go back and resize those. And we're going to do that again for the next bit. So we're going to say I wear. So the next bit I'm going to put a little. In fact, I might put, no, let's go with that. A little. And again, I'm going to double click and I'm going to drag that onto my poppy. And I'm going to resize, make sure it fits. Move it around. And this time I'm just going to add the word poppy. So poppy. And I'm going to make this bigger. So I want this to fit on a whole line. Poppy. And I'm going to write the next bit. And you're just going to keep going, okay? Let's see if we can fit this in. And play around with those sizes. Okay, now that might be a bit too much for one line. So I'm going to click on the end. I'm going to delete some of it. Here we go. I'm going to double click and move. And we can resize again. And keep going. So what I would do is probably have a maximum of 4 words per line. Otherwise the text is going to have to be too small and it won't be readable. So you really need to think and reflect back on your work and think, can someone read this without having to squint? So Miss Kimmel needs glasses all the time to read. So things have to be big anyway. But just make sure you keep looking at it and keep thinking, if someone was to read this, are they able to read this okay? Okay. So I'm going to do one more line and then I'm going to offer an extension activity and then we're going to finish up, okay? So I've got, I wear a little poppy as red can be, to show that, so I'll put that, to show that, I'm going to move that, there we go, And I'm going to put I remember. Okay. And there we go. So, children, I am going to leave you to it to complete your poem. Teachers, you might want to pause this bit of the section, this bit of this lesson, so that you've got the poem for them to copy. What I will say is, teachers, if you want an extension activity, you could encourage them to choose different fonts as well as sizes. Or you might want to reflect back on the bold, italics and underlines that we've used in previous lessons, just for those children that need a bit of a push. The other thing you might want to add in are some of these lines. Okay, so those are some good extension activities. Should you need them, this might be enough. Okay, so children, I hope that you have enjoyed our lesson today. Teachers, just a little reminder that we have opened up our Christmas card competition. So this is exclusively for our Facebook group members. So you can join that. There is a button in your teachers area tile on your Launchpad. So that is only on the teachers Launchpad. There is a button that you can join the Facebook group. It is the Just2easy Teachers Facebook group. So there is information on how to enter. We are accepting entries now, so you can create your Christmas card image in Jit Paint, and you can upload those, and we will choose the best one for our company Christmas card, and obviously the children that win will get a prize, of course. So be aware that that is launched now. And we are also doing some Christmas live lessons, so those start, we've moved those forward. Those are on the first week of December. We are doing 3 Christmas themed live lessons on the Monday, Tuesday and the Friday, and we've also got our regular scheduled programming on the Thursday. So Miss Kim will be very tired that week teaching 4 lessons. Dear me, it's like being back in school again. So thank you so much for watching, children. I hope you've enjoyed today's Remembrance Day themed live lesson. Teachers, as always, if you are posting any examples of what you're doing onto social media, make sure that you tag us, otherwise we can't see. And we absolutely love to see what the children are creating. I would love to see some of these poems, so please feel free to tag us, or you can email them over to me. That's equally something that you could do. Okay, have a lovely rest of your Thursday afternoon, morning, afternoon, day, and the rest of your week. And I hope to see you next week for, I can't remember what we're doing next week. What are we doing next week? Digital storybooks. That's what we're doing next week. Doing Jit Mix. So join us for that. Okay. Right, children. I will see you next week. Bye-bye.